Hello everyone, we are live once again. Welcome back to Iscah Presents daily live series for 5 days, and today is the last day of the series. And before we move ahead with today's topic, it is mostly about challenges that children faces during their childhood period, and I'll quickly pin the topic. So yes, this will be saved as an IGTV, so even if you miss, don't worry, you can always go through our page and see this video in our IGTV. Well, to begin with, children, as we know, they are full of ideas, full of understanding complexes and complex stuff basically, and they are always in this process of finding patterns everywhere. So it is very difficult for a child to understand everything, to have knowledge about everything. Therefore, how can we minimize certain complexities, certain patterns that are not helpful for them? So as an adult or as a caregiver, what can we do on our part? So being small and new to this world has its own challenges, and therefore there are many common challenges in the childhood which children faces no matter what, in whichever part of the world they are. Certain things are very common, and certain issues and certain challenges are very common. So to begin with, firstly, few points we have to keep in our mind before we proceed. So the very first thing is lack of experience. So children believe that everything, whatever is happening to them, it is worst. It is the worst ever that can happen to them. This is quite a common feeling which children have in their childhood, and why this is so, because whatever activity they does, mostly in most of the activities which they do, they don't get proper feedback, or even if they are getting a feedback, that is, they are confused whether it is a genuine feedback or not. And most of the time they don't know how to point out the feelings that they are having, whatever they are going through. They are not able to pinpoint their feelings accurately. For example, arrival of a newborn in the family can be very conflicting for them. So there'll be a lot of different kind of emotions, especially jealousy. So jealousy is one of the major feeling, or major type of emotion and feeling associated with jealousy. So they will feel that they are not given that attention, and therefore this is all because of lack of experience. I mean, probably they never had a sibling, and they are experiencing being an elder in the family for the first time, so they don't know how to identify the different emotions they are going through. And definitely they would be expected by their parents to be understanding, but are we being realistic when we ask children to be understanding? Because they themselves are very young, so they are not even able to figure out what they want, and not being able to probably name their emotions well. On top of that, if we ask them to really cooperate with the surrounding in the family, or the environment in the family, because of arrival of a newborn, so this is quite conflicting for them. So lack of experience is one thing, which is why we have to really communicate well with the children, so that they don't feel neglected, they don't feel left out, and these are the reasons. So towards the end of the session, towards the end of this live, I will focus on what can be done, but let us first go through the challenges which they faces. So secondly, it is lack of knowledge that they don't have the training to handle their emotions, which are very challenging. For example, if a sibling is being praised, then for children, they will not see the praise as a praise, but they will see it as a comparison. Okay, so there is a lot of feelings associated with comparison, and probably the child will feel more compared with their sibling, with their cousins, or even with their classmates. So here again we have to be really, as adults, as grown-ups, as caregivers, even if as teachers as well, we really have to understand that it is they it is the lack of knowledge which they have, therefore they cannot differentiate between, is it really praising or is it really comparison. So if the child is not in a the child generally is not in a position to differentiate these adjectives, all right. So therefore, as an adult or as an elder person, we have to help them identify each of the emotions very well, and so that they don't suppress their emotions, and which will further give birth to different kinds of negative emotions and thoughts in their mind. And children usually sees everything they wants explanation, right? So if we are not able to explain them in a proper manner, then this will remain, that particular thing will remain as a question mark in their mind forever. So yes, lack of experience, lack of knowledge, and then comes lack of choice. So lack of choice is a very common challenge which children have. I mean, it is always, each and every decision is taken by the parent on their behalf, or it is taken by some person in the authoritative figure on their part. Even if they voices out whatever they want, they are not fully attended to. I mean, their opinion, it is not that respected. I'm sorry, there was some sound. Okay, all right. So yes, parents' confusion with their opinion and choice with whatever children want. So I will give you one example, which is mine. When I was young, somehow my parents thought that because I kept on shouting, and but all those shouting were in tune, so probably my parents thought that okay, she's singing and probably she'll be good if I put her into singing. And so they did put me into singing, which I was not at all interested in. And this is a common mistake which parents make. Even if a child, if they do something which the parent sees very attractive, they immediately gives their version of interpretation that probably he likes this. So I think well, let us continue it as the second part, because we lost connection. So just to continue, we were talking about challenges in childhood, and we talked about lack of experience on part of children, lack of knowledge on their part, and finally we were talking about lack of choice. So yes, parents, they do play an important role in providing choices to children. It should not be that what parents want, they should not make the child do that, but rather they should be all ears to what the child wants to do. And therefore this is one point where most of the children, they really feels that they don't have an autonomy, or they don't have that they don't feel empowered to make their own choices. So this is a very important point which the parents or all the elderly people, I mean all the grown-ups, should really take into consideration, that providing choice, I mean giving the freedom to choose, is really important for children. Okay, most of the time the child may say that I don't like the newborn baby, I mean who has just come into our family and has taken my space. Probably there are other statements like, I really had a very bad birthday party, I mean we all went out, but that's it. So when a child is saying all these statements, we have to understand that what is the feeling and from which part of them are these words coming out. So there has to be certain amount of feeling, a question in self esteem, in self identity. And therefore, as parents, if we don't address them, and if we keep on denying this, yes, parents or elders denying children's feeling is very very hurtful for them, because this makes them feel that are they really being valued, what is their value. So they will start questioning themselves, and they will start questioning their worth, which is not that great. So even if we acknowledge their feelings by even one word, by just responding like uh-huh, I see you, I listen you, okay, or anything as such, it will be good, it is healthy. But if you as a grown up, if we are not at all responding to our children whatever they are saying, then they will feel probably worthless at some point of time. So therefore, giving a choice or allowing them to have a choice is important, and therefore understanding their feelings and emotions at the same time, it is equally helpful and very important. Okay, so how can we overcome these challenges? Okay, challenges of how can children deal with this daily life challenges better. So in this, when we are talking about children, we are not only focusing on children, but with children there are parents. Okay, we are talking about parents as well, because ultimately it is parents who have to look after the children, and the better nourishment they get and the better knowledge they get from parents, the better they will have understanding about world, about feelings, about everything around them, and they will be better able to give meaning to things around them, going on around them. So as parents, is it really important that a parent every time they have to empathize with the child? So if those of you are here, if you can tell me a yes or a no, is it really important for parents to empathize with their child every time? Can I get a response? Because this is a very important question which parents ask us most of the time, that is it really important that I have to address my child's feeling each and every time, that I have to empathize with them each and every time? So my answer to it is, it depends on the situation. It is not important for parents to empathize children all the time, but definitely what they can do is not ignore what they are saying or what they are asking for. Even if we don't agree with what they say, then we have to say to them that I cannot agree to this point with you, and you give them a proper reason. If they don't get a proper reason, they will have certain thoughts in their minds that probably I don't deserve a reason. Probably they will start questioning on themselves, they will start questioning their self-worth, and then this procedure, this will become this will become a pattern in their future relation as well with everyone. So Gayatri says, in my opinion, based on the situation, we have to, otherwise they will turn introvert. Yes, you're right, they might not turn into introverts, but they might just stop opening up themselves. Okay, so children, once their beliefs are formed over time, their thought process are formed over time. So if it is not taken care in the proper time, whenever it is needed, then baad mein jaake they might not be open to many things in their life. Okay, so this is one thing. Secondly, we always have to ask our child, not always, or at least sometimes it is recommended that we ask our children, why do you feel this way? Because we have this feeling that they are children, what will they know? But yes, they do know a lot of things. Okay, and therefore whatever explanation they have, it is valid for them. Therefore, it is always important, and it will be really better on our part as caregivers, as adults, as even teachers, that we ask them, why are you feeling? Because only when they say what they are feeling, we will stop assuming. Most of the time when it comes to children or even with adults, what we do, we assume and we don't ask. So that is one thing, if we can work on, it will be really better on our part, and it will really give a sense of respect to the other person as well, that yes, I am being recognized. Therefore, my parents or my friends has asked me, they have asked me this question, that why do I feel this way? And then we should really let our children know if we agree or not with how they feel. Again, every feeling is valid. There is no right feeling, there is no wrong feeling. It is all situational. Therefore, we have to really make them understand by giving them some meaning and some reason. So basically, if we keep these things in mind while dealing with children, I think they will be able to tackle, or not tackle, they will be able to deal with the daily life challenges. And this is really very important. We have to engage them, we have to engage ourselves also in their activities, because that will lead to forming a bond. And the more we engage ourselves with them, the more we are vocal with them, the more we can know about them, and even they will also understand about their feelings, and they will not have negative thoughts about themselves. The thought process will be not confusing, and they will have a clarity on their self, mostly on their self identity. So yes, this was it about in very brief I told you about the challenges which children faces in their childhood. And that's it. If you have any queries, if you have anything to ask, say, please go ahead. Or even if you want to know more about it, you can always DM us. All right. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for attending today's live. And today's live is the end of the 5-day series of Understanding Children. So if you want to go back to the first day and see, you can always go through our IGTV. So here I end this video. This is the second part of the video. The first part I uploaded it, and because of certain network issues I had to end it and then restart the second part. So yeah, thank you. Please follow, like, subscribe Iscah Wellness page, and tell your friends, tell everyone. It is for everyone. Mental health is for everyone. That's it. Thank you. Take care. Bye. Good night.